Hello, my name is Nitya Shah from 4th grade Steinium at Basis Peoria Primary. The speech I'm going to present to you was originally for a speech contest, but unfortunately it got canceled, so I'm going to present it to you. The topic is Just Imagine a World Without Boundaries. Just imagine a world without boundaries. But what would a world like that look like? Dictionary.com defines a boundary as a border that can be physical, like a wall, or abstract, like a list of rules or a set of standards. Our daily lives have many boundaries or restrictions that set limits upon us. Are these limits helpful to us as we work to achieve our goals, or do they hold us back? I think a boundary is a guidepost, a place to pause and consider how to go forward. When I come to a boundary, I need to ask myself, is this a boundary I would do well to follow? Or is this a boundary that is limiting my potential, and therefore, how would I find a way to eliminate it from my world? Many of the boundaries we encounter have been established by society to keep us safe. Consider traffic laws, for instance. Traffic laws limit us with stop signs, speed limits, and traffic lights. Without traffic laws, the roads would be chaotic and dangerous. Another set of boundaries that keep me safe are my religious rules, which set limits on some of my personal activities. So while I might want to watch TV or talk to my friends on the phone, I trust the guidance I receive at the temple every Sunday will help me solve the daily problems I encounter at school and home. These religious lessons and moral stories are my guides, showing me how to accomplish my goals. Sometimes we run into boundaries and try and hold us back and keep us from achieving our goals. In that case, I think it is important to look at the boundary as a challenge and discover a new path around it. Martin Heidegger, a 20th century German philosopher, once said, "A boundary is not at that which something stops, but that from which something begins." To me, this means that once you move forward and find that new path around that boundary, you can live in a world without something that holds you back. Sandra Day O'Connor aspired to become a court justice when she was a young woman. She had an excellent academic record from Stanford Law School, but at that time couldn't even find a paying job as an attorney because she was a woman. She knew the boundary stopping her from reaching her goal was her gender. With patience and persistence, she gained experience as an attorney, became a senator, and was appointed to become the first woman on the Supreme Court. Justice O'Connor broke through this boundary not only for herself, but also for other women to follow in her footsteps. Famous mythologist Jane Goodall is another example of a woman who refused to accept a boundary that was put upon her. The government of Tanzania rejected her application to go to Africa to study chimpanzees because they thought it was dangerous for a young English woman to go into the forest alone. Jane did not accept this invitation. She kept going back to the government officials to convince them to let her conduct her research on chimps by living in the jungle. Her persistence paid off, and the government gave her permission. Jane Goodall eliminated this boundary, and today her research is known throughout the world. She is one of many women who helped open the door for other women to experience success in the area of science. Sometimes, the boundary that seems to limit us have been produced by our own minds. At the beginning of the school year, I was invited to become a part of the National Elementary Honor Society. All of the inductees were encouraged to run for an office, and therefore would have to give a speech. I had no experience giving a speech in front of a big audience, and I didn't know if I could do it. However, I didn't want this boundary to become a challenge that would limit me forever. I learned how to write a speech, and I worked hard to memorize, practice, and deliver it. While I did not win the election, I conquered my fear. Now here I am able to confidently speak in front of you. What was once a barrier has become a new path for me. Just imagine a world without boundaries. It is hard to do that because we have so many of them in our daily lives. These boundaries and rules are established by society, our family, our school, our state, and our temple in order to bring discipline and safety to our lives. I think that we need these kinds of boundaries to use as guideposts to help us pause and think about the best path for us. However, I believe that we can imagine a world without the kinds of boundaries that limit our abilities and stand in the way of our goals. We can work hard, we can be persistent, and we can find a new path around these types of boundaries so that we can turn our hopes and dreams into reality. Thank you.